So at this point, you've edited your object styles. You've done some view visibility graphic overrides, view by view. Maybe you've hidden some individual elements, and you're still finding one or two little areas where you can't quite get the graphics to do exactly what you want, because if you hide the element, it hides the whole thing, and you really only want to hide part of it. Or if you change the line weight of the object, it changes the line weight everywhere, and you really only want it to change the line weight on just this little edge. So what do? Well, you certainly want to use this next technique after you've exhausted all the other possibilities. But if you have, we have the tool called Linework that allows you to literally reach in and touch any individual edge of an existing object and change the line work of that particular edge. So let's go ahead and take a look. I'm in a file here called Linework, and I'm looking at the second floor, and I have this open to below space here. And there's a floor element right here that I'm highlighting right now. And that edge of the floor really probably wants to show in the plan view down below. So if I go back to level 1, you can see that this is the same general area, but we're not seeing any indication that we have this balcony up above our head. Now, there are a variety of ways that we might choose to approach that. We could certainly try to select the floor object and make it do what we want it to do. We could just draw some line work and fake it in, but the problem with drawing line work is that it's not associated with the model in any way. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to temporarily make the floor display, and then using the line work tool, we're going to override the two edges that we need to make them dashed above our head. So how do we do that? Let's make sure that we're looking at the floor plan properties, which are for floor plan level 1. Scroll down a little, and there's a property here called underlay, currently set to none, and I'm going to change that to level 2. And let's go ahead and click apply. Now, sometimes that gives me what I want, and other times I have to change the underlay orientation to reflected ceiling plan. So I'm going to choose between the two and see which one gives me a better result. I actually like reflected ceiling plan because it's less busy. The floor plan was showing me the railing and everything else, and all I really need is that edge of the floor. That's all I'm trying to get there. Now, the underlay is literally like an underlay in manual hand drafting. So if you remember back in the day when we used to draft by hand on the drawing board, this is like taking one sheet of Mylar and slipping it underneath the other sheet of Mylar to use for reference. So here is your second floor, kind of slipped underneath the first floor for reference. Now notice that that's actually a live view. So I can select, and I'm selecting that floor object. And so it's not just visual, that's real stuff. So be careful there. Now what I'm going to do is go to the Modify tab. And right here on the View panel, I've got the Linework tool. And the shortcut for that is LW. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And what this tool does is it gives me a list of line styles. So from the list of line styles, I'm going to choose the one that I want, and I'm going to choose this one here, overhead lines. And what I can do is now reach in here and touch the line in question, and it will actually change it to a dashed line. Now, in that case, I got the railing line, so I'm going to press the tab key to make sure I'm getting the floor line. If you look down at the status line, you can see it says floors. That's when I want to click, and I get a single dashed line, and then I'm going to click it over here. And you can zoom in and make sure that the extent of that line is what you want. Turns out in this case it stopped nice and cleanly at the wall, but if it didn't, I can actually drag that grip and change the extent of this modification. So that's a pretty handy thing to do. I'll click the Modify tool. I'll go back to my floor plan properties and set the underlay back to none to see the result. So as you can see, we can use the Linework tool to go in and make modifications, whether it's to reveal these lines above our head, or maybe you want to use it to show the edge of the roof on an eave condition. There's a variety of places where this might be useful, but you're literally going in, reaching in, touching the line work in the object, and making just that little tweak that you need to get the graphics to look just the way you want them to look.